Good morning, folks. How are you? It's nice to see you all. It's Thursday morning. I don't even know what day of the month it is. Where are we? 18th, March 18th. How are you doing today? If you are here live, perhaps you could say hi in the comments. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you can hear and see me okay. We have a different microphone today. We're trying something different. So I'm hoping that the sound will be a bit better. So good morning, Arlene. I'm guessing that you can hear me. So I'll just give you, morning, Laurie. Just give you a couple minutes to get situated before we jump into our Facebook Live. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Morning, Laurie. Arlene says it's good. Okay. Yay. Hi, Laura. Hi, Daria. Hi, Daria. I am good today, thank you. Although clock's changing. I don't know about you. It takes me a week to get used to the clock's changing. I still wind up sleeping in, hence the wet hair. And always takes me about a week to get used to our clocks changing. Hello, Ren. It's nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Patrizia. Did I get my hair cut? A couple of weeks ago, I think. The time just merges into one at the moment. Hi, everyone. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Alice. So there are definitely some new faces here today, which is very exciting. That is exactly what we want. Arlene says she just got out of bed. Well, I'll just let you secret. I haven't been up very long myself either. So I'm blaming the time change. Tony says I'm looking fresh. Yeah, that would be because I literally just got out the shower like half an hour ago. But that's okay. I'm still eating my breakfast, which is in here, liquid breakfast. So it's all good. It's all good. So welcome everyone to our Thursday Facebook Live. There are lots and lots of new people. If you are new here, hi Jan Beresford from the UK, or Jane Beresford. I'm sorry. My mum has a friend called Jan Beresford. Hi Jane. It's nice to meet you. Hi Patsy from Texas. Hi Lucy from Texas. Hi Jane from Sweden, or Jana. Hi Jana. How are you? So thank you so much for joining me on this Thursday morning for our regularly scheduled Facebook Live. It happens pretty much every Thursday at 10 a.m., barring, vacations and challenges and whatever else happens in life. So if you are new here, welcome, welcome. We are so glad you are here. If you are new, I just want to give you a quick heads up about what these Thursday Facebook Lives are about. They take place on my Facebook page. They are open to everyone. Generally speaking, it's mostly Handmade Book Club members who come, but they are open to everybody. And the whole point is for me to show you a quick project on a Thursday morning. These projects are they're not complicated. They're always very quick and easy projects that you could just kind of whip up in an hour or so. I'll often just show you how I decorate the cover or something. The structures are always super simple. The point is for us just to connect on a Thursday morning, and it keeps me honest because it keeps me making things. Other things we do on a Thursday morning, we have interviews about once a month. So stay tuned because next week we have Jane LaFazio on, the art journaler and artist extraordinaire. Jane will be coming on to show us some of her journals, and I'll be interviewing her. Sometimes I'll do a book review, but 2 to 3 times a month, I'll be doing a very quick project. So, and the point of having them on my Facebook page is so that it is open to everyone. Like I said, it's mostly book club members who come, but this is open to the wider community, and it's a way of just inviting people into our community and seeing if they like it. Because if it's their cup of tea, they'll stick around, and if it's not their cup of tea, they'll go find their own cup of coffee or tea or whatever. So welcome if you are new here. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Renee. Lots of familiar faces, but lots of new faces too, which is always fun. This morning, we're going to be talking a little bit about tea dyeing. It's not terribly difficult, but I figured I would show you anyway how to make tea. I'm going to show you how I do it rather than this is the only way to do it. There are loads of different ways to dye things with tea, but I'm just going to show you how I do it, and I'm going to show you how I put together this journal like this. I don't think I'm going to put the guy on the front. I'll do something a little different, but I'll just show you from start to finish how I do this. And so if you're just joining us, Thursday mornings are just sort of an open, they're open to everyone. We meet here Thursday, 10 a.m. most Thursdays. And I'll just, like I say, I generally just do a very simple project. This month's challenge is, hi Karen, hi Deborah. This month's challenge is to, let's see, this month's challenge is tea. Yes, I'm just trying to make sure which month we're in, because I think I told you next month's challenge by mistake. But this month our challenge is tea. Use tea however you like. The tea bag book from last week, or no, a couple of weeks ago. This is the tea bag book I made a couple of weeks ago. Some of you have made that. I do tea dyeing. I saw a lovely book that's a teacup shaped. The theme can be tea. It's just vaguely tea. Whatever tea says to you, make a book based on that. And good morning, Liz. And then post it in the Facebook group, whichever Facebook group you're in. You could be in both. One is just for the book club. One is our big free Facebook group called Craft and Handmade Books. That's for the world and his wife, and you can post it wherever you would like. But if you would like to be eligible for monthly prize, you do need to upload it to a Google form for us. And I'm guessing Mickey is here, although I haven't seen her yet. In the description of this video is a link to upload your project to be considered for the monthly drawing and the blog showcase. We pick out maybe a dozen or so to showcase on the blog. And the drawing every month, if you're wondering what we give away, I give away all my samples. So, and pretty much all the little scraps on my desk. So a lot of all the vintage papers you see today will be scooped up and put into that package. This book here that I made last week will go in, 2 weeks ago, will go into that package. The book I make today will go in the package. But a lot of the cork fabric I used from the 5-day challenge, which I know most of you took, will be in that package. It's basically all my samples. Sometimes they're little half-finished books that you can finish, but it's often a lot of materials and things that I have lying around because, hi Mickey, oh Mickey is there. I couldn't see that because it was someone from the community's fabulous idea. She said to me, what do you do with all your samples? And I thought, oh, I don't know, because like they're literally just piled up everywhere. So it kind of prompted me to think I'll just give them away. So yes, Dee Stoddard won last month's wood challenge, and she won a really cute wood notebook and a ton of stuff. So thank you, Gail. Oh, actually, Celeste says, is the tea project still up? Yes, it is. Someone asked me last week about this, and I can't remember who it was. My mum gave it to me years ago. Her friend made it, so I don't know where it's from, but it's very cute, right? Okay, let's get started. Mickey just popped in the comments to the link to the tea challenge. So if you have already done the tea challenge, please upload it if you'd like to be considered for the prize. I ship overseas too, no worries. Okay. Let's jump into the project. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you're new here, we're very glad you are here. I'm going to flip the camera over so you can see. I have on my desk a Pyrex bowl of tea. Let me see. How do I switch this over? Here we go. Yep, do you see my tea? There we go. Like I say, I'm sure that you have your own way of dyeing things with tea, but I just want to show you how I do it. So normally when you dye things, you leave a lot of space around the item that you're dyeing so that it dyes evenly and there's a lot of movement. I actually do the opposite. I like to keep things very tight so that I get a lot of variation in the dyeing. So when I dye fabric, which I'll show you in a minute, I dye it in a teacup. When I dye paper, I actually dye it in this little 9x13 Pyrex bowl. And I generally I'll leave the tea bags in here, I'll let them steep for a few minutes, and I always burst one so that there's some leaves which leave a kind of mottled effect on the paper. There we go. Make a nice mess, shall we? Oh dear, where's my trash can? There it is. I leave the tea bags in so they get nice and strong. You can see all the tea leaves there. This is an Irish breakfast tea. So, and we'll talk about in a minute different tea bags, but this is my regular morning tea, bright orange. And then what I like to do is I like to already, if I'm making an accordion book or I'm making a book with signatures or whatever I'm making, I actually like to pre-fold them. And what happens is that you get really nice variations, like along the sort of seams and things of your book. Hopefully you can see this. You just come back a bit. Yep, you can, I think. By keeping things kind of tight and then also by pre-folding them, you get a nice lot of variation in the dyeing, which personally I really like. But if you don't like that, then use a much larger container for your tea and spread your papers out. But I actually like it being really snug. So I made myself some signatures already, and I'm just going to pop them in like this. So this is a lighter weight paper. Ooh, I've got a thread. This is a 90 pound, or it's 120 GSM. I don't know what it is in pounds. It's 90 GSM, 120 GSM. So it's a lighter weight paper. So I leave this in for about half an hour. And then you'll see me try and transport this over to the other side of the room in a minute. You know, it's going to be a recipe for disaster. So some I open up, some I leave folded. Sometimes I'll weigh this down with like a coffee mug, but sometimes I like to leave bits hanging out the edge so that you get like a nice line there. Like I said, I'm making it very tight, so there's not much space in here, so we get that variation. So I'm going to leave this in here for half an hour, although it'll be longer because I'm on Facebook Live. When it's this lighter weight paper, only leave it in about half an hour. When it's heavier weight paper, such as a watercolor paper or a Reeves BFK, like a 280 GSM, I leave it in for an hour. So one thing you need to keep in mind when you're dyeing paper is that the lighter weight the paper is, and the more delicate it's going to be when you pull it out, and the more likely it is to rip. So when I'm done with this, I generally lay a tea towel on the kitchen counter. I gently pull them out very carefully and lay them on the kitchen counter for half an hour for most of the moisture to, be absorbed into the towel. And then I hang them to dry on a clothes dryer. But particularly this delicate, if you're using quite delicate papers, just be really careful when you lift them out of the water. If you have any tips for dyeing tea, then please pop them in the comments because I would love to see them. So I know you're going to ask me what kind of paper this is. This paper here is the paper that I'm going to be using in my book today. It's an Arches text wove paper. Mickey has a link ready for you. And then in this book that I made here, this is a Reeves BFK paper, 280 GSM. Mickey has the links for all of those. This here, which is what we're working with today, is an Arches text wove paper. It's 120 GSM, so it's lighter weight. And then often what I'll do is also chuck in some shipping tags. I don't want to waste the tea. Another thing that I might do is pop some rusty things in and weigh it down as well, so it tea dyes and rust dyes at the same time. But let's not get too complicated. All right, so I'm just going to chuck those in. Like I said, I might weight it down with some mugs, but I actually sort of like little bits sticking out the top so that we get that variation. And then the tea leaves, I allow them to dry on the paper, and then I just knock them off into the bin afterwards. So let me move this, and I'll just carefully, if you hear me like scream, you know what's happened. Carefully move this. Excellent. All right, no accidents. Let's just dry this off. And the reason I do the tags is I really like to have, I just love to have these little tea dye tags around. I like to rubber stamp on them. Hopefully you can see that. I like to just have, they're just kind of nice to, I don't know, pop in with gifts or Betty says, could coffee give a similar result? Yes, I believe so. I know lots of people use instant coffee for that. Someone who does a lot of coffee dyeing is Bobby, who I don't know if she's on this live today. I'm just wait. This is a little damp, so I'm going to leave that. How many tea bags? I used 2 tea bags. The paper was art just text wove. Ooh, using tisanes would give an interesting effect. Ooh, that's fine. Yes, John, I used John and Jane, I used hot water. I just made tea like I would do normally, you know, like a cup of tea. Yes, so Suki says hibiscus tea gives you a blue effect, and you are right. Here's a one I did with hibiscus. So here's you know, this is Irish breakfast tea. This is hibiscus tea. It gives you like a blue effect. And then, you know, different color tea bags that give you different effects. So when I do strips of fabric, I put them in teacups because I want them all tight together so I get that variation. So this one, for example, these strips of muslin were done with turmeric and ginger tea. Let me just put some light on this. Oh no, that's not going to help. This is turmeric and ginger. And I even rolled it up a little bit so that I got this white variation. But if you don't like this sort of white, almost like tea dyed effect, then use a bigger mug. Here's another one that was in the turmeric that I left a bit longer. It gives this yellowy look. And then other colors of tea. This, I believe, was a peppermint tea. And I rolled this up as well. So I got this like tie-dye effect. That was peppermint. This was, oh, look at all the only trouble is with this torn fabric is all the threads. Oftentimes I'll put the come in a bit closer so you can see. I'll put the little tea tag on there so I remember what it is. So if I want to do it again, so this was like a cranberry. I see lots of people giving tips in the comments. That's excellent. So this is a pinky color. I'm not sure you can see it yet. You probably can't because of my lighting. But this mint is like a almost gray, and this is a pink color. So, I mean, you get the idea. Different teas are going to give you different colors. This is another black tea. So lots of tips in the comments. Ali says she splatters strong tea onto dry paper with some rock salt. Oh, that's a good idea. Hi, Wendy. Oh, oops, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Deb this week. Let me pop Deb's comment. And she did a blueberry dye this week. Oh, the paper just dissolved. Oh, that's too bad. Huh. Maybe a sturdier paper, Deb. That's too bad. Dara said here in Mexico, hibiscus flowers are available in bulk in the produce department. Ooh, that's a great idea. Nice. And then Catherine says butterfly pea flower tea gives a blue. I've never even heard of that tea. Nice. So here's the thing, we'll all be going to the grocery store just to buy tea for dyeing at this point, right? So you get the idea. So my tips for dyeing are, if you like more variation, keep them tight in a small container. If you want a more even effect, then use a larger container. Be careful of your delicate papers. If you're using a very thin paper, just let it dye for a very short amount of time and be really careful when you lift it out. And experiment with, I have to flip this around, don't I? Oh, there we go. Experiment with all sorts of different teas and different lengths of time, and different papers are going to give you different effects. So for example, this was a Reeves BFK done with Irish breakfast tea, and then this was the Archers. You probably can't see, but there's definitely a different color variation because the base paper was different. This was creamier and this was whiter. I don't know if you can really see the difference on the camera, but this is definitely more orange. This definitely got more of a sort of a cooler tint to it. So Experiment, experiment, but just be careful with the very delicate wet paper. Okay. I am going to make a very quick accordion and book with signatures sewn into it. Oh, avocado pits, yes. Oh, you guys have so many ideas. Oh, I'm not even going to look at the comments right now because I'll just get distracted. So this is the book I made, and I'm going to make a similar one today. I'll just walk you through it very quickly. It is Reeves BFK. It's a accordion. It's tied with a piece of, you're never going to guess what this is. I'm going to ask you, what do you think this tie is made of? What do you think this is? I wonder if anyone is going to guess what this is. I collaged on the front some vintage papers, a tea-dyed handkerchief, vintage postcard, some words. I glued it onto the front, which you'll see me do in a minute, and then I also did machine stitching on it. And then it opens up into an accordion book, but it has signatures sewn into it as well. So you can see here it has signatures sewn in. You can see the stitching on the back, and I will show you that in a moment, so you can see the signatures on the back. I wanted a super long accordion book. The accordion book we're doing today isn't that long, but I joined two accordion panels together right here. So I put them up against one another. I took a piece of Tyvek. So you could recycle Tyvek envelope that you can get from the post office that someone sent you. You can also buy Tyvek. It's a very, very thin plastic. You can't, well, I guess I did rip it a tiny bit there, but it's really tough. You can't really rip it. And it's made of fibers going in all sorts of directions, so there's no grain with it. And I glued a strip along here. I tried to tea dye it, but it doesn't tea dye because it's plasticky. I glued a strip along here to join them together, and then because it was bright white, it looked kind of ugly, so I could have colored it with some acrylic inks, but I just decided to cover it over with washi tape, which I glued, and I glued them both down with PVA with a white glue. So I'm not going to do that today, but I just wanted to explain, if you have two accordions and you want to join them together, that's one method of doing it. It's not all of them, but it's just one method of doing it. So, and then you can see on the outside here where I sewed in my signatures. Prom dress? No. Nightgown? Nope. Silk veil. You're getting closer. Prom dress, silk veil, curtain. You're not going to guess. This is from it's a silk from a parachute. Who knew? A friend of mine gave it to me. She gave me a huge piece of this parachute silk. So yeah, who would think? And then I put the closure in just by tucking underneath the vintage postcard. I glued it down, and then I just machine stitched over it. And I did the same on the back. Just glued it down on the back cover, did some machine stitching. You could cover this over if you wanted to. It doesn't bother me really, but if it bothers you having it there, then you could cover it over with a piece of paper or something else. So just tie here and a tie here. You could also do another tie which wraps all the way around if you wanted to. That would be an option. Lots and lots and lots of closure options. All right, let me show you how I did it. I tea dyed some paper. Now, I know lots of you are going to ask me, what paper this is. This is an Archer's text wove paper. And this, I know, is something that many of you struggle with. I need a pen. I know lots of you struggle with paper grain and figuring out how to cut your paper. Parachutes. Yeah, I know, right? Parachutes are cool. So I'm going to show you how I just sketched this out. So I had a piece of Archer's text wove, and it started out being, it was 40 inches, and it was from Talus. and it was 25, like this. So this is the paper I had, and it was grained long. So I'm going to flip it this way. So I find it easier to work this way, and it's grained long. So I thought, okay, I have this paper. Let me see if I can come in a bit closer. I actually only had half a sheet of it. For some reason, I only had half a sheet. I don't know why. So this half of my sheet was gone. So I thought, okay, I've actually got, it's 20 by 25. So the grain runs this way. So I wanted to make an accordion book, which is long and skinny, right? But we definitely want the grain running along the spine here. So I needed to think, okay, I need to get some long, skinny strips of paper with the grain running this way. So what I did was I took this number 20 and I thought, oh, divide that by 3, and it's approximately like 7. So I did 6.5. So I measured down 6.5 on my piece of paper. I scored it and I tore it, and I did the same again. So these were 6.5. That was 6.5. That was 6.5. And then I had a little tiny skinny strip left, which I just threw in the trash. So I had 3 strips now, and the grain was going the right way to fold into these this 4-panel accordion. Okay, and then so this is what I wound up with. The grain is going the right way. And I have this 1, 2, 3, 4-panel accordion, which measures 6.5 inches high. And then the width is 25 divided by 4, so 12, like about 6.5 again. So it's this square-shaped accordion. So hopefully that makes sense, because I know that is something that you all struggle with. And, you know, clearly this is extremely sophisticated way of figuring it out, but this is literally how I figure it out. So I hope that's helpful. Let's put a little bit of extra light in there. And if you want to know what paper I'm using, I wrote it down. Mickey has a link. It's Archer's Text Wove. It's 120 GSM, which is fairly lightweight. So I have 1 accordion panel, which I just folded into 4, and then I decided to make some signatures with the rest. So I took one of the accordion panels and I tore it in half. So I have 2 single signatures like that. And then I took the other one, the second accordion panel, just tore it in half so that I've got these signatures. And you see the tea dyeing is all uneven because I put it in the Pyrex sort of all smushed together like this. And possibly these were sticking out as well. You can see some mottling effect from the tea leaves too. So what we do is we take our accordion, we open it up. This is the inside. This is my outside. This is my inside. This is the front cover. This is the back on the inside. And what I'm going to do is nestle these 2 pages to form a signature. I'm going to nestle it in this valley fold right here. And I'm going to take the other one and do the same thing. But before we do that, I'm going to clip it in place. The little clip. Here's the other valley fold. Here's the other valley. This is the inside of my back cover. Taking the other 2 pieces of the dyed Archer's Text Wove, and I'm clipping it in there. Just like that. Let me see if there's any questions. It's helpful to hear the grain matches the length of the spine. Yes, that's right. Oh, the fountain pen. Oh, this is Cheap as Chips fountain pen. It's a, I'm sure Mickey has a link. They're called Preppy. They're really, really inexpensive fountain pens. From, you can get them anywhere, but Jet Pen sells them. It's called Preppy. It's $5. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Okay, so I could get my punching cradle out, but I don't think I'm going to bother. I'm going to sew these together. So I'm just going to take my awl. Because I'm not using my punching cradle, I'm just going to use a piece of foam. I'm going to pop it on my work surface. You can mark with a pencil if you want to. Except I can't find my pencil. Bit strange, isn't it? Oh, here it is. I would eyeball, or you can measure the middle, about 1/2 inch from the top and about 1/2 inch from the bottom. And then put the hole right through the middle, like that. Do the same over here. Mark with a pencil if you want to, but you don't have to. Just eyeball. So I'm going through my 2 sheets of paper, and I'm going through the accordion book right here. The back of the accordion, you see that? I'm going to grab some thread. Grab some thread. I'm just going to do an arm's length of thread to make my life easier. And thread. I'm threading any old needle that's on my pincushion. It's not a special needle. Well, it's a bookbinding needle. This is a 4-ply wax linen thread, which actually is probably a little thick for this project, I will be honest. But it's what I have to hand. And then I'm just going to sew them together. So for the sample book, I made it bigger by starting in the middle. Most of you have done this before, I know you have. Pull this through. I'm on the outside of the book now. I'm now on the inside of the book, is where I started. Skip the middle. Go up to the top. Honestly, purple wasn't really the colour I wanted, but hey ho. Bring this back through. So on the back of the book, where you which you won't necessarily see very much, you've got 2 stitches, and then on the inside you have 1 long stitch and then 2 threads. I'm going to just tie this off. Bob's your uncle. Let's just do the same on the other side. So I'm doing this twice on this smaller accordion, and then on the bigger accordion you saw in the sample, I did it 4 times. I figured you don't particularly want to see me keep doing this. If you want the knot on the outside, you start on the outside. I want my knot on the inside. But you could put your knot on the outside and attach some beads or something interesting. Paper beads, small regular beads. To here. Okay. I'm just checking for comments. So this is a simple pamphlet stitch book. But we don't need a fancy, we don't need all sorts of fancy stitching for this, because the tea, dyed paper and the collage is what's going to take center stage. Okay. Tie off inside, lose the needle, trim up, and I just use an arm's length of thread. So it's about a yard, right? There we go. And then I'm going to grab a bone folder and just smooth it down. Get rid of my clips. So now I have my accordion base, and I get to do some collage on the front. Just going to push in those holes. Now, do I want this as my front? I do kind of like this look. Or do I want, oh no, I prefer this. This will be my front. Okay, let's see. When dyeing large piece of fabric, still only use 2 tea bags. No, I would use more tea bags, Mindy, if you were doing larger pieces of fabric. I think the more tea bags you use, the stronger it'll be. Okay, let's do a little bit of collage. I'm not going to do, this is a heavier weight paper and this is a lighter weight paper, so I am not going to go quite so heavy on this. If I wanted to do more, lots of layers of collage on this one, I might put a hardcover on it. So I'm just going to do less layers. This vintage postcard was quite heavy, and the Reeves BFK was heavy enough to withstand that, but this lighter weight Archer's text wove won't. It just won't be. It won't make for a stable book if when we stand it up, this cover is really heavy. It'll tip forward. So I'm just going to look, and I'm literally doing this on the fly, folks. I didn't plan this. I'm actually really serious. I did not plan this. I'm literally going to go through my stash of papers right here and just find some things that look good. This is how we roll around here. I do know that I want to use my this eco print that I thought about ahead of time, because I thought that would look kind of nice, but I think we need some contrast with that. So here are these postcards. I'm actually going to put the rest of these postcards inside that the book I made. That would have been yesterday. So I'm going to find some papers to go on here. Like I kind of like, this gives me a little bit of contrast. What else? Let's see. See, this looks a little yellow to me. Oh no, actually I kind of like that. I like that actually. That looks quite nice on there. I'm kind of obsessed with these journal papers, right? I've got a plain one. I don't like that. Blah. We don't like that. I quite like this text paper. So it's just collage on some papers. Oh, I like this one actually. 1882. Except I don't like that red at the top. So we'll get rid of that. So all these little extra bits and pieces of paper are going to go inside the prize package for the person who wins the drawing for the tea challenge. So if you have not yet taken part in the tea challenge, do I like that? Maybe I like that. Who knows? Perhaps we just like it like that. I don't know. So just making it up. That's how collage works, right? That's a very similar color to this, but I actually really like it. Oh, I really like that. So we'll just layer this up, I think. Let's tear this down. Is this how other people work? Or do you plan and are really careful? Okay. I wish I was a little more careful and planned about things like this, but okay, I really kind of like that. And then maybe we'll put a little bit of fabric in here. Nope, don't like that. Ooh, ooh, oh, oh, oh. I like that a lot. Okay, that looks good. Okay. This is PVA. So I'm going to tack it all down with PVA, and then I will machine stitch it. I won't machine stitch it on camera because that would be kind of weird. I also would like a tie. So I'm going to use the silk from the parachute, right? Parachute silk. Where are my scissors? Oh, they're over here. We go. See, this is what gives Mickey a heart attack, is that I make stuff up on the fly. Right, Mickey? She's like, please don't make it up on the fly. Mickey is a professional organizer, which is why we value, which is why we have her around, because she's so organized and fabulous. One of the reasons we have her around. She's just plain fabulous, but she's a lot more organized than I am. So I know that this just about kills her when I make stuff up on the fly. There's my cover. So I'm just tacking, remember I'm tacking these down with glue so that I can then machine stitch them a bit later. Let's do this one first. Check if there's any questions. Makes the project fun. Well, I think it makes it fun. Poor Mickey though. We're going to give her a heart attack one of these days. So, oh yes, like that. So if I were not going to machine stitch all of this, you know, I'd probably use matte medium or some other, or gel medium or some other glue that I liked to secure all of this down more firmly, but I just know that I'm going to be sewing it. So this torn edge is not going to happen. I don't like that at all. I might put some, I could put some ink around the edge, but I think what I'm going to do, I have this gelato on my desk. So I'm going to, Mickey has a link to gelatos there. They're quite, that's, I don't even know what they are. It's like a waxy substance that's water soluble. Just going to rub this around the edge. Oh, it's a little bit dark actually. I'm not sure I like that so much. Oh well. It's just and you could use a baby wipe here if you wanted to. Maybe even just moisten your finger with the baby wipe. That's better to get this kind of effect. It's actually darker than I would have liked. Okay, never mind. So you could use a watercolor crayon. You could use some ink along here. You could use a colored pencil, some paint, dry brush some paint around this. But that's going to give, oh yes, that's much better. That gives some definition to that cut edge, right? So let's layer this on with a tiny bit of glue. This bottle here was given to me by a friend of mine. But Colophon, let me just grab this. Colophon Book Arts sells something similar. It's they sell this squeezy pack bottle, which is very similar. If you're looking for something like this, but I'm sure the most art supply stores have these little plastic bottles with a very small tip. Let's pop this on. So I'm not layering up too much heavy collage on here just because it's a lighter weight paper. I'm going to go around this with machine stitching. Oh, I do really like that fabric. This is probably going to be a bit goopy. Hey ho. Just tack that down, and then I'll probably, once I've machine stitched all this, I'll most likely put some buttons on here too. So for this book right here, it needed some color, so I wound up putting this fabric flower, you know, from my stash, and a button in the middle. I glued the button, I didn't sew it on. Yes, I'm going to probably just leave it at that, although, you know, it needs a word, folks. It needs a word. So whoever wins the challenge this month gets it. So let's find some words and you can help me choose. We have create every day. We have, oh, I like this one. Choose kind words. I like that. Oh, embrace life. All right, you folks get to choose. Go slow, choose love, choose peace. All right, the choice is embrace life, choose peace, or create every day. That's the choice for the words on the front, because you know I'm kind of borderline obsessed with words. So let me know in the comments which words I should be using on the cover, and I'll pick most popular choice. So all of these vintage scraps and dictionary papers will go into the prize pack straight off my desk. Let's see, what do you want? Oh, you like kind words. Choose peace, create every day. The glue is just PVA glue. Create every day. All right, I need embrace life. All right, keep choosing, folks. Keep choosing. I'm not going to machine stitch all of this on camera because that would be loud and obnoxious. So I will, off camera, I will machine stitch all the way around this. It's only got a tiny bit of PVA holding it down. But if you do not want to do machine stitching, which I know lots of you don't, you could do hand stitching. So I would go in with an awl and punch even holes with maybe a piece of graph paper and do some hand stitching, or just glue it down with a really even layer of white glue, gel medium, matte medium, whatever, whatever glue you like, whatever you have on hand, Mod Podge even, just an appropriate weight for the paper you're using. And then another thing I will do, embrace life, choose peace, creative day. Gosh, oh, it's like even, embrace life. It looks to me like embrace life is the most popular one, so we'll do that. This is just a Tim Holtz ink, it's nothing fancy. It's ground espresso, because I know you're going to ask. Just inking the edges up. So how I made this was, I took a piece of muslin and I ironed it onto freezer paper. Freezer paper's got that glossy effect, right? You can kind of see the freezer paper. Then I put it in the typewriter and did typewritten words on it. Put that there, and then once we've done the sewing, we'll probably put a button there. And for a final step, what I would like to do is put some walnut ink on here. So this is some walnut ink that someone gave me in a dropper bottle. She made it from walnuts in her backyard. And I'm going to use a watercolor brush, damp watercolor brush. I'm just going to dip it in the ink. Give this a, ooh, I like that, a little splatter. There we go. I like that. Good enough. All right. Vintage-ish tea-dyed journal. Like I say, we'll finish it up with some nice stitching. I'll post a photo later. A few weeks ago, we did the tea bag book, and I didn't finish it on camera. I want to show you. I found these words from the vintage book that we were using. I think we used some vintage book pages somewhere in here. But I found these words here. We put on fly, but then I found these words here. It says, I'm ready, I said. So ready to fly. I thought that was kind of fun. So, but I love embrace life. So there we go, folks. This is a little tea-dyed accordion with signatures inside. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put the strip of thingamajig on the back, the closure on the back. So I'm just going to tack this down with a tiny bit of glue and then machine stitch in place. There we go. I don't want to close this too hard now, otherwise it'll stick, right? Put a little piece of paper in there. So, yeah, here is the journal. It's got a tie at the side. Let's pop that in there so we don't glue those together, and a simple collage on the front. And then here's the other version too, which is bigger with 4 little signatures in there and the same tie, but with the collage dried and with machine stitching around it. So a little vintage sort of journal for our tea-dyed challenge this month. Hopefully you can see that okay. There we go. Yes, the words are made on a typewriter. How to create the words on a typewriter. Yes, so if you missed that, I took a, oh dear, 3 people were angry on here. I don't think you really were. I took a piece of muslin. I ironed it onto freezer paper, just with a very cool iron, and so it stuck it to the back, and then you can feed that into a typewriter or into the printer and put your words on there, and then it's still, the freezer paper is still on the back, and you can pop it onto your project. Okay. Thank you. What material did I use for the ribbon? Asked Linda. The ribbon is an old parachute. It's silk parachute. A friend of mine gave that to me. Let me flip the camera around. Spontaneous and quick. Well, that's one word for it. Yep, that's definitely one word for it. Okay. Look, that didn't take any time at all. Just goes to show you, I'm covered in those threads. It just goes to show you can whip up a fun journal super quick. Oh, thank you, Anne. So if you are just joining us, welcome. If it's your first time here, I'm really glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. If you missed the beginning, I just wanted to reiterate that these Thursday mornings are they're for everyone. They're on my Facebook page, but it's mostly book club members who join us. And I know we have a lot of new members here today, a lot of new faces and a lot of new book club members. So welcome, welcome. These Thursday mornings are just, we either do an interview, we do a book review, or I do a very quick project like this. It's just like a little bonus, little something extra. It's usually tied in with the month's challenge or kind of theme, as it were. Thank you. Yes, the kind of point is just for us to get together on a Thursday, and it keeps me honest because it keeps me making things. So really, it's just very selfish. The reason it's open on the Facebook page to everybody, it's just a way to introduce people to our community to see if they like it. So, so thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Do you have any questions? Do you iron the paper once it's dry? Oh, thank you, Elaine. Oh, I knew there was another tip. So once you've tea dyed your paper, yes, I iron it. I must remember to put that in the blog post. Yes, because it gets wrinkled. And the thinner the paper that you've tea dyed, once it's dry, the wrinklier it will be, because that's a word, wrinklier. And you definitely want to iron it. I spent yesterday morning ironing paper. So what else did I want to say? So most folks I know here are members of the Handmade Book Club. Thank you very much. Either new or founding members, or you've been a member a long time, because we've been going quite a while now. But if you are not a member, I just want to let you know that we will be opening up. The club is open now until the weekend, until Sunday. We only open up 3 times a year, so we'll open up again in the summer. But if you would like to join us, if you check out this link here, you can read all about the Handmade Book Club and all the fun things we get up to. So behind closed doors when no one's looking. No, it's really fine. So yes, if you're not already a member, or you don't know anything about the Handmade Book Club, please feel free to check out this link right here. I'm sure Mickey will put it in the comments, and it's also in the description, because we only open it 3 times a year because we like to then just spend the rest of the time focusing on making books. So what are the comments? Kathy puts her papers in the book press. Wendy says, will there be a replay? Yep, the replay comes up straight away. So I don't have to edit anything on Facebook. It just immediately reposts. It's just for YouTube. Excuse me, I need a drink. It's just for YouTube that I just need to drink water. It's just for YouTube that I have to edit. Oh, excuse me, spraying water all over my laptop. Tracy says, oh, thank you, Tracy. Tracy says she's happy to have joined the club and she can't wait for my business to open up again. Our studios are starting to open up again soon, and I might. I'm thinking about moving studios. So Lois says, will you let us know when our year membership is up so you can renew? It renews automatically month to month, Lois. Good question. But it goes month to month, and you cancel whenever you want to. You don't have to stay a year, although we'd like you to stay forever because we like having you there. But yes, it just rolls over month to month. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. It was the first time here. Nancy says, join It's the Best Club Ever. Thank you, Nancy. I'm taking a class with Nancy tomorrow. I'm so excited. I get to be on the other side of the camera and take a class. Nancy teaches Celtic knots and Zentangle, and I've been taking Celtic knot classes with Nancy, and it's so much fun. So I'm taking that tomorrow. Sally says, do you rinse your paper before drying? No, I don't rinse it. The fabric, when I tea dye strips of fabric, I'll give those a quick rinse under the cold tap, but no, I don't rinse the paper. Would love to see a modern journal now. Most of my journals are pretty kind of clean and simple, actually. Most of them are very clean. The vintagey look is because we're tea dyeing at the moment, but I do like the vintage look, but I also like clean and modern too. So Celeste says she uses heavy watercolor paper on her large desks and Put pages down when damp, cover with recycled blank copy of paper, more wax paper, and then plexiglass. Ooh, and it won't curl. I like it. That's a great idea. So cover it. I've got some plexiglass. I've got a huge sheet actually. That saved me getting my iron out because Andy nearly fell over in shock when he saw the ironing board up yesterday. Because let me tell you, there's no ironing going on in here unless it's paper. Amy says she'll be tea dyeing. Yes, Nancy is teaching Triquetra Celtic knots tomorrow. I can't wait. Oh, Lois is doing her class too. Yay. Nancy is a really good teacher. Let me tell you. Really good. Thank you, Judy. Oh, yes, Nancy popped a link in. This is Nancy's, her website is I Teach Tangling. We can also find her on Instagram too, and I Teach Tangling. Can't say enough good things. And if you are a book club member, Nancy, back in January, did a mini class for us in introducing us to Zentangle. So you may want to go check that out if you're a book club member. Okay. Oh, yes, Tanya. You'll probably be there tomorrow too, right? I know you're taking classes as well. Is tea-dyed paper archival? Probably not. No, I wouldn't think so. But because it's got, you know, an organic substance on it. So I would think it's probably not. But I wouldn't like to swear, but I doubt it. When am I doing another one? I will be here next Thursday. So next Thursday, we will be here. I won't be doing a project, though. I'll be interviewing Jane LaFazio, who is a amazing artist, watercolor artist. She sketches and she does fabulous journals. So I will be interviewing Jane, and she'll be showing us some of her journals. And we're going to watch a video, and it'll be fun. But then the Thursday after that, I'll be back with another project. Surprise, surprise! I actually know what it's going to be. So. Yay. Tannin. Oh yes, tannin, says Daria. So there's going to be tannin in the tea, right? I would think. So that's probably not archival. All right, folks. It's been great to see you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate that too. If you're here live, it's been fun to see you. Yes. Everyone loves Nancy. Oh. So I'm just reading all the nice comments about Nancy. She's really a fabulous teacher. So, okay. Unless there are any other questions, folks, I will let you get on with your day. Go dye paper with tea. Go make a book. I will, here's the book we made today, but when I've finished doing the machine stitching, I'll post another photo. Remember, if you have done the tea challenge, or if you plan to do it, remember to go to the link that is in the description here to upload it to the Google form so that you are in with a chance of winning the drawing, because this book will be in the drawing. So you get to win this book. You can fill it with fun things. Kim's off to the art store for some large paper. Remember, you can piece together paper too for accordions, but you know, I'll never discourage you from buying paper. All right, my friends, have a wonderful week. It's been great to see you all. And thank you, Mickey, for putting that link in. Thank you, Irene. It's been lovely to see you all this morning. And catch you here next week. All right. Take care, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful and creative day. Bye-bye.